Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to explain how I was able to build the physique that I've been able to build and how I went from weighing 140 pounds, struggling to gain muscle, struggling to gain weight in general. Not that we want to put on body fat, but literally I felt like I couldn't do anything when it came to gaining weight. And I was able to finally crack the code and understand what it takes to not just add muscle mass, but maintain it and keep it on. Because after finally understanding what it takes to gain this muscle, I lost a lot of it. And I didn't realize that if you gain the muscle and you lose it all, bro, it's just like not even having the muscle in the first place. Probably worse, because now you're in your own head. Like, did I run into a plateau? Like, what happened, right? So make sure you stay until the end of the video because I'm going to break down step by step what I started to do. I did plenty of things, but I'm going to basically highlight the key reasons that I was able to maintain muscle and consistently build more. So stay all the way to the end if you want to hear the sauce. If you don't, it's all good, bro. Balls in your court. But I'm going to break down how you can do the exact same thing step by step. Now, let me just preface by saying before I was able to find success in this, I tried so many different things and none of them worked. Literally, none of them worked. And I would feel frustrated. And because I tried so many different things, even though I did start to see a little bit of progress, I didn't know what was the cause, right? So I was always in this cycle where I'm like, okay, is it because my carbs are low that I'm building muscle? Is it because my carbs are high? Is it because my food is low? Is it because my food is high? Is it because I'm doing cardio? Is it because I'm not doing cardio? Is it because I'm working out 5 days a week? Is it because I'm working out twice? All these variables, bro. And I'm like, I literally don't know the answer. So after all that frustration, I started to try an elimination diet around my lifestyle, not just my nutrition, but my lifestyle. So I started to remove all the variables and then slowly add in one at a time. So the first variable that I added in to my lifestyle to start to see the results that I wanted was looking at my protein intake. Now, protein is super key because we need muscle mass, right, if we want to keep our fat low. I think a lot of you guys watching this know that, but if you don't, the more muscle mass you have in your body, the more calories you're going to burn at rest, and the higher likelihood that you have less body fat. And at the exact same time, the lower body fat you have, the easier, technically, it can be to gain muscle. But if you don't know how to even put weight on, then it doesn't matter how lean you are, you still aren't going to put on muscle or at the rate that you want, right? So I would constantly eat these boring, bland meals of chicken, broccoli, and rice. And when I say chicken, broccoli, and rice, it was nothing spectacular. It was never, like my quality chicken and rice meal was like if I went into a restaurant. But for the most part at home, I would be cooking that chicken bland, plain, dry, no seasoning, like maybe black pepper, right? And where I'm getting with that is I would always be super extreme and on one side, meaning I would eat the chicken breast, the broccoli, the rice, no butter added to the meal, maybe some salt, right? But like no sauce, all these things. And that is not the approach that I take anymore. And of course, I still enjoy those meals and I base my nutrition around these whole foods. But I never will tell myself like, yo, you can't have butter, bro. Like, what? I eat butter all the time, right? And I would never tell myself like, yo, I can't have this thing because it's gonna affect my physique. It's like certain foods, maybe you should cut them out, right? But if it's something simple like a food that you genuinely enjoy and you've been eating your entire life, who am I to say like, yo, just stop eating that food? You're not going to follow through, and even if you do, you're going to go right back to it. So why not from the get-go eat that food anyways, and then just make modifications so that you can still enjoy the foods you like and put on the weight you like. So to bring that story back, I tried overeating like 3, 4, 5,000 calories a day, and stuff doesn't work, bro. Like, because when you try to eat so much food like that, what you're doing is you're basically spiking your blood sugar all over the place. One day it's going to get a ton of food. Maybe the next day you only get 2,500 calories, and it's just under a bunch of stress, right? And so I tried all these things. I tried a different approach. I tried keto. I tried low carb. I tried high carb. I tried high fat. And when I say high fat was when my carbs were low. So that was during my keto session. But during all these things, I never saw the tangible results I wanted. And it wasn't until I started to just focus on a couple variables rather than all of them that I started to see actual results, and not just actual results, but muscle that I can maintain and step away from the gym for a few days and still look in the mirror and be like, yo, I still have this physique I want, right? And I think a lot of times in the past, myself personally, I would work out and then it's like, well, I haven't worked out in 2 days. I need to go work out again just to look big and just to maintain that muscle. But after some time, consistency, etc., you start maintaining and holding on to this muscle mass. And again, it's doing way more benefit for you than harm having all this extra muscle because it's helping you rapidly burn calories far greater at rest than if you had less muscle. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. And it's also giving you a higher threshold. So now you can eat more food while staying leaner. So if you're not following where I'm going with this, really where I want you to understand is eating enough food based on what your current weight is and where you want to go, it is great. But if it's not sustainable over the long term, then you're going to fall back into those old patterns and it's never going to work, bro. So start from the get-go, start from step one with the basics. And this is exactly what I did. I started to just focus on my protein. So, okay, how much protein do I need for my goals? I would always try to aim for 250 grams a day, which, was not sustainable, right? And so I started with basically from the bottom up. So I would slowly and gradually increase my protein intake until I felt like I was at a point where, maintaining this muscle, right? And so as I started to do that, I realized that, okay, not just am I maintaining muscle, but I'm actually getting far less cravings for food, because the nice thing about protein is it has a very, very satiating effect on the body, meaning that you're not going to have all these cravings. Your hunger is not going to be going through the roof if your protein is high. And when I say high, it's like, okay, we can get scientifical, let's eat 170 grams a day. Or we can just say, hey, and this is the approach I take for myself and clients, is just like, hey, let's aim for this ballpark number. If we can get there, great. Let's get the data from what we're actually eating, but don't overstress yourself over it, bro. Just aim for this amount of protein. And as a byproduct of that, because you're eating this amount of protein and the cravings are not there, you're not going to eat as much carb or fat, etc. And that ultimately is most important, is because the one that's going to contribute most to new muscle growth and fat loss is protein. And so if you had to choose one out of the three, you would likely want to choose the protein. And that's what I would recommend, is aim for more protein. Because by doing that, it's going to cut down all these other cravings, all this junk food. And it's the analogy of the pink elephant in the room, right? If you're focusing on cutting out junk food, you're going to be constantly thinking about how can I get some junk food in my system, right? Or how can I not think about this, right? But if you're constantly focusing on like, hey, I'm just going to eat my protein. If I want to have the junk food, I'll have it, but I probably won't get the craving for it, right? If you go under that approach, it's a lot more sustainable. And that's what I found has worked for myself and so many clients I've worked with. And so that would be the first thing, is get your protein down. Because again, you're going to fuel new muscle growth. You're going to get better workouts. You're going to be able to lift heavier, right? And the more that you consistently feed your body this protein, the less likelihood that you overeat, the less likelihood that you're storing too much body fat. And as you get leaner and you're still feeding your body enough protein, it's maintaining this muscle. And at the same time, because it's, getting more muscle over muscle week over week, because of that, you're going to get leaner and start to shred more, burn more at rest, and now your fat is dwindling down, right? And so that's the main thing, is, bro, get your protein on point. Because if you can get your protein on point, it's going to cancel out so many of these other problems we run into. And we're not going to have to worry so much about, cutting carbs or cutting out the junk food or skipping out on meals that we want to eat on a festival or a birthday, whatever, because you're maintaining so much muscle that the muscle is burning a lot of body fat for you. And it's also helping you build new muscle, right, by keeping your protein high. That'd be the first thing, is, keep your protein intake high. And if you do that, then you're in a good spot. Now, let's talk about the second thing that you need to continue gaining muscle. And this is something I implemented. And this is maybe I should have put this in as the first in the order, but working out, bro. You need to be working out consistently. And it doesn't matter how much time you spend in the gym. It matters how efficient you are. Now, when I was younger, I would consistently spend 2-3 hours in the gym, sometimes even more, as crazy as it sounds. And I would do 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe even 15 exercises. No word of lie. 15 exercises times 3 or 4 sets. That's about 50 sets, 60 sets. Not every single workout was I doing that much volume, but a lot of the times I was. And because of that, I realized that I was overdraining the energy I had available, and I wasn't allowing my body to recover properly, especially given, my nutrition at the time was not dialed in and my protein was not on point, like I just mentioned, right? So as I started to realize that it's not about what we're doing in the gym, but it's how we're doing it, that's when things really started to unfold for me. And I went through a lot of, my own research. I went through my personal training certification. I went through my nutrition coaching certs, all these sorts of things. I had experience working with over 100 clients in person, several clients online. And then I fully transitioned to a coach online, and I started to see repetitively the same issues come up. And it was perfect, because it's like, well, these are things that I've overcome. Let me just give you the exact formula that has worked for myself. And my clients started seeing the results they wanted. And what that looks like in the gym is not spending your hours wasting time, bro. That's what it is wasting time. And if you're a fitness fanatic like myself, then maybe spending 2 or 3 hours in the gym isn't the most gruesome, painful thing in the world. Maybe you actually look forward to that, almost like I did. But one, I'm sure you want more time in your day so that you can spend time with the family, you can go out, you can travel, you can work more, you can do whatever. But also, not just that, even if you are the type of person that wants to be in the gym all the time, you're going to literally make less progress if you're in there too much. So you need to have the time away to be able to recover. Because what most people don't understand is when we're in the gym, it's not when we're building muscle. We're not getting stronger in the gym. We're tearing muscle fibers down. We're getting these micro tears, which sounds dangerous, it sounds scary, but really a micro tear is, okay, you're breaking these muscle fibers down, you're weakening them in the gym, and then you're going home, giving it proper hydration, proper nutrition, proper recovery, sleep, etc. And assuming that also all the other variables are factored in your favor, then when you're sleeping is when all these nutrients are being derived and sent into the muscle fibers, and this is when you're actually building muscle. So it's not when you're in the gym that you're building muscle. And I think this is super, super important, because when we start to look at it this way, we start to prioritize the recovery rather than prioritizing the workouts themselves. And so if you know that you're in the gym for 2 hours, but you're only sleeping 6, you should probably do the opposite, right? Or I should not say that. You should probably do like shave an hour off of your workout, sleep 7 hours, work out for 1, see how you feel from that, right? But it's super crucial to make sure you're effective in the gym with what you're doing. And the best way to do that is do all the research on your own. And that's what I personally did. I spent countless years learning biomechanics, anatomy, how the body works, working with people of all different variations, right? Like I'm talking people that were 6'9", 6'10", people that were 4'11", like all different variables, large, small, etc. And what I found from all these people is that they just need efficiency in the gym. They don't need to be doing the same workouts, and none of them were, right? But it's like, if I have a client that's 6'8", and then I have another client, for example, that's 5'8", their leg lengths, their femurs, which is their longer leg and their longer bone in their leg, is going to be completely different. So how is that able to be said that this person and this person can do the exact same workout? One person is probably going to struggle more or less than the other because they have to go so much further down, right? Or they might have weakness somewhere that the other person doesn't, and vice versa. And so what I came to the conclusion was, after working with all these clients, is that they need a unique, specific program tailored to their goals. And this is the reason that there are a lot of exercises that I simply just don't do now, because I just don't need to, given my goals. Now, when I was younger in the past, I would do every single exercise. I would do the squats, the deadlifts, etc. But when you understand what you're doing in the gym and which muscles you're training, you can actually start to cut out exercises, right? So you can stop doing exercises altogether if they cause you discomfort or if you don't like doing them. Now, when it comes to discomfort, if you're having some joint pain, it's another reason that you need to prioritize what you're actually doing and how you're doing it in the gym, because if you're not moving efficiently or properly, you're going to run into joint pain. And even if you don't run into joint pain, maybe, you are a miracle of a person and you just don't run into these things, right? Either way, you're going to be leaving so much potential growth on the table when it comes to tension on the muscles. If you don't have enough tension on your muscles and you're not training them properly, then it doesn't matter how that weight moves. It matters how your muscles respond to it. So if you're not getting that response necessary to actually stimulate muscle growth, then you're in a spot where you're spending all this time in the gym and you're just not seeing the results from it. And in addition to that, which is crucial, you're digging yourself more and more into this hole where now you have to recover even more. So I'm telling you, follow these steps and you will get to the results you want. Number 1, bro, get your protein intake on point. How much protein do you need for your goals? Depends on a variety of factors, such as your weight, how much you're exercising, what your goals are, how much you want to weigh, etc. But a good rule of thumb for anybody watching is, if you can try to get 1/3 of your overall calories from protein, that's going to be a very, very good starting point. And that's going to cut out a lot of great things. You're going to drop water weight, you're going to drop body fat, and in 2-3 days you're going to notice I actually feel insane, right? I feel like energy is high as it's ever been. So start with that, and then once you have the protein down, okay, now you can make real tangible results and adjustments around what you're seeing in the gym and in the mirror, and maybe you can tweak things from there. And from that point, it's smart, to either work with somebody that knows what they're doing or to figure out what your body actually needs. If you guys are serious, I do have a video pinned down below that's going to give you guys a free macro calculator, and that's going to allow you to input all your metrics so you can get the exact protein that you need for your goals. Because again, it depends. If you have 10% body fat versus 20% body fat, it's going to be much different, even if your goal is the same, right? Now, if you're trying to lose weight and gain muscle, it's going to be even more complex. So there are a lot of variables, and I highly recommend you guys just use my free macro calculator, because it's going to show you how to build lean muscle mass and the actual macros that you need to make it possible. Now, we've covered 2 things so far: training and nutrition, right? Now, I know I didn't dive super deep into how much carbs and fats you should eat, and the reason for that is most people don't get that far, meaning they get to the protein goal and they're consistently seeing the progress they want. Now, if you are somebody that has consistently hit your protein intake and you're just not satisfied with where you are in the mirror, then yeah, it's going to be time to look at how many carbs you have, how many fats you have. But again, as a general rule of thumb, if your calories are not too high and your protein is high, then it's going to leave such little wiggle room left for those carbs and fats. And so, like, if you're the type of person that doesn't like to be obsessive over tracking foods and these sorts of things, then bro, just track your calories and your protein. And then if you hit your protein target, you still have calories left over, you want to go out and enjoy a nice meal, don't worry about it, bro, because you already hit your protein intake, right? Just keep your calories where they should be, and you're in a good spot. And it really is an equation where protein plus carbs plus fat equals calories, total calories. And if you just plug and play, you can literally just, decide how much of each you want to eat. Now, if your protein's already high, because we've explained why this is important, then you can go 50-50 with carbs and fats. You can go 100 carbs, 0 fats. I don't recommend that, though, because you want to have fats in your body. Fats are great for making sure your hormones are in check. And this is a lot of the reason why when you cut food too low, the hormones and the metabolism start to just become more inefficient, and we don't want that. So if you have your protein down, you have your carbs down, you have your fats down, now you're also in the gym training consistently and doing the proper exercises for your goals, and you're also structuring them accordingly, then it's going to be very easy to make results. And it's funny because I remember when I first started in-person training, one of the other coaches that I worked for or worked with at the time, he said, like, you can probably go in the gym these days and work out within 30 minutes and get 10 times better of a workout than you could have 5 years ago by spending 2 hours in there. And I literally said facts. Like, it's so true, because I know what I'm doing when I'm in there. And it doesn't matter how long you spend in the gym. What matters is how much time your muscles are under proper engagement and tension, right? So if you're in the gym for 3 hours and 2 hours of that time is you resting, adjusting the form, moving your stance around, all these things, checking your phone, and 1 hour is the tension on the muscle, you would be likely better off if you were in the gym for 45 minutes with 40 minutes of the tension on the muscle, meaning you're resting very little, etc., right? And so you have your nutrition and your training down. The only thing you really want to look at next is your recovery. Like, are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough water intake? Are you stressed out too much? All of these things will make a huge difference on whether or not you see the results you want. And so if you have stress from work, family, relationships, etc., just know that all that factors into your likelihood of building muscle and shredding body fat. And if you can manage these things by, I think the easiest way is exercise, right? But also, doing the mindful practices or the meditation or the reading or whatever you need to do to keep your stress low, doing that is going to allow you to yield the best results in the gym, because not only do you have all these other variables increased, you have your protein high, you have your calories where they should be, you're strength training efficiently, spending just enough time, not more, not less, but just enough time in the gym, and you're recovering fine. If you're not seeing results, the only main reason is that your stress factors are going to be high, and maybe other things are also adjusting this. But like, if your stress is high, then you need to address that, because the more stress we have, the less likelihood that you're going to see results. So get that in check and make sure you're sleeping properly. Like, most people can decrease their stress rapidly just by eating properly, eating enough food, keeping their blood sugar levels steady, which comes from eating properly, and also just sleeping enough. If you're doing these things, you're going to see the results you want. And the next and final thing that I like to tie into recovery is also, water intake, right? Like, just keep your water high, because the more water you have in your body, the less you're going to store. Meaning, if you're constantly drinking water, your body adapts to that and it starts to flush out a lot of water, right? And so if you're constantly over dehydrated all the time, then what happens is your body actually stores the water that you give it. So maybe you only drink like 2 water bottles a day, for example. You doing that, every time you drink the water, your body is like, crap, bro, we're not going to get any water anytime soon. Let's retain all of this and hold on to this. And oftentimes that water retention looks like body fat, and you might be storing way more water than necessary and dehydrating your body, so that when you're in the gym, your muscle cells are not properly hydrated. They can't perform as efficiently, and also they're more likely to run into cramps, etc. Right? And so you want to keep in mind, when you have all these variables down, it's a little bit lower down the totem pole, but when you have all these other variables down, you need to keep mind of where your water intake is. And if you can start with consistently increasing the water intake, similar to the protein analogy, where you're just slowly aiming to get closer to this number, then you're going to be in a good spot. You're going to notice after a couple of days that you drop some water weight, because you're hydrating your body constantly, and because of that, it's adapting, and it's going to sweat more. It's going to flush through some of this water more frequently, etc. And now you have muscles that are properly hydrated, properly fueled, properly recovered, and mental stress, which is managed. And because of these things, now you can actually see the physique you want and the muscle growth you want. Now, for those of you guys that are serious about making change, and you feel like doing all these things on your own is stressful, is something that you don't think you can do on your own, then I want you to click the link in my bio, schedule a complimentary strategy call with myself. And throughout this call, we'll just basically talk about what I've explained, but how it will apply to you and your goals. And then I'll just, get a sense of where you're currently at, where it is you're trying to go. If I can help out, great. If I can't, then I'll give you like some resources to do so on your own. Again, if you are somebody that is serious about making change and you don't want to have to do all these things on your own, and you want somebody to hold you accountable and teach you the step-by-step process, all the nitty-gritty details, then click the link below, schedule a call. And from that call, again, we'll just give you a better sense of the direction in terms of where you need to go. And I'll help you step-by-step get to the physique that you want. Now, for those of you that are hard-headed and you are the type of person that likes to take on these more daunting tasks and do them on your own, that's totally fair. I have my macro calculator linked under my pinned video. So when you click on my YouTube page, the first video you see is going to show, boom, achieve your ideal physique. That's the name of my coaching program. If you click the description, in that description is going to have my macro calculator and how to actually use it. And in addition to that, I'm also going to link in there a lean eating guide for you guys that just walks through step-by-step my nutritional frameworks and how that might help. But for those of you guys that stay to the end, I appreciate you listening. And just keep in mind, if you follow these steps, you will start gaining lean muscle with ease, and you'll start dropping water weight, dropping body fat. You'll ramp up your metabolism. You'll literally skyrocket that mofo. That metabolism will be here, which just means that you're burning so many more calories than you're consuming, and you're increasing that over time by fueling new muscle growth. So let me ask you this one question before we wrap up the video. If I was your personal trainer / coach, and I said, hey, so-and-so, you want to lose 30 pounds? Okay, let's just cut your calories in half. Do you think that would be sustainable? It definitely wouldn't. I'll be straight up. And even if it was sustainable, would you actually do it? Would you actually look forward to that every single day? Waking up and eating 800-900 calories, would that actually make you feel motivated, energized, like your hormones are on point, like you have high testosterone, your work environment, you're feeling great? Or would you actually feel worse? Or that's how I felt. That's how a lot of people in the past I've talked to have felt, where they're simply looking at it from the wrong angle, and they're cutting all these foods out. And in addition to that, they're slowly dwindling away their muscle mass. And by losing this muscle mass, they're storing more fat and just being less efficient with their calories based on the metabolic rate. Now, let me ask you from the flip side. If I were to say, hey, I don't want you to worry about cutting out the junk food. I don't want you to worry about cutting out all these things. I just want you to focus on one habit at a time. I just want you to focus on consistently tracking your protein. And the next step would be, okay, now that you've tracked your protein, I want you to consistently hit this target protein based on your goals. And what doing this is going to allow your body to do is, again, because you're giving yourself more protein, your cravings are going to go through the window, bro. Like, you're not going to want that junk food anymore. And this is something you need to implement for yourself. And you probably don't know what I'm talking about if you haven't ever tried a high protein diet consistently. Because when your protein is that high, you're not going to feel hungry, bro. You're not going to have the cravings and all these sorts of junk popping up in your mind. And after literally a week, 2 weeks, like most of my clients say, right, like they actually start craving the quality foods. So I have clients tell me I can't wait to eat my chicken or my burger or my steak, or I can't wait to eat like my protein bar / shake. And, in the past, it's just like them trying to eat salads, them trying to eat fruit, forcing themselves to eat gross meals. Like, bro, it doesn't have to be that serious. All you need to do is keep your protein high, consistently train. And as you do that, yeah, you can make modifications if necessary. You can decrease carbs, decrease fats if you really want to. But I'm telling you, bro, you don't have to. You just have to keep your protein high, train properly and efficiently, and recover fine. And then, because you're focusing on gaining muscle, which again is a byproduct, more muscle mass helps us burn more calories at rest, and that's going to help us burn body fat down, right? So if you can simply focus on keeping your protein high and, again, not just keeping it high, but eating quality foods, aiming for more of that protein, then as a byproduct, all the other bad foods just start to slowly dwindle away, and you actually don't care much about them. Now, if I told you that, just focus on hitting your protein and just write down the protein you eat each day. And then once you are in a habit of doing that, let's eat a little bit more until we get to the number we need to be at. And then just follow the program. Be in the gym efficiently, not resting more than 2 minutes, 3 minutes per set. There's no need. right? And in addition to that, like if your goal is to be a power lifter, then like I don't help people with powerlifting. You can go to a different YouTube channel respectfully, but like if you want to gain lean muscle mass and shred body fat, you need to keep your rest time. I don't even like resting longer than 2 minutes. You need your rest time low. And it's just as simple as that. So for those of you guys that stay to the end, make sure you click the link in my bio if you do want to hear more about how my process works and you want to take that next step to transform your physique so that you can achieve your ideal physique. And if you're not ready, then that's totally cool. Click the macro calculator in my pinned post and use that, plug in your weight, your age, your goals, etc., how many steps you're taking, and it's going to spew out how many calories, protein, and fats you need. And if you want to get really, really technical, it's also going to tell you what to eat on rest days, on training days, etc. Now, like for my clients, I take care of all this madness for them so they don't have to worry about a thing. But the only thing they can focus on is just going to the app, putting their food in there, doing their training sessions, and getting notified of wins from other clients in the group. It's just that simple. So if you're somebody that wants to save all that stress, you want to save all that headache, and you just want to make results, you're sick and tired of not seeing the tangible results when you look in the mirror, you're not seeing the muscle growth, and you're feeling like you're stagnating and you're in this plateau, then click the link in my bio and I will help you literally solve that equation, bro, because again, it's an equation. It's X plus Y plus Z equals A. Sorry for the unnumerical numbers, but literally, bro, just an equation. It's protein, carbs, and fats equals calories. And if you can adjust these in your favor, then you're going to start seeing insane results. So click the link in my bio if you are interested. If you're not, then totally cool. But make sure you come to the next video because I'm going to break these processes down more and more for you guys. Because again, my main goal on this channel is just helping as many people as I can. The more people I can help, the better. So if you got value from this video, comment the word value in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one.